Good morning, everyone. Visionaries, trailblazers, exceptional souls, thank you for being here today. I look around this room and I see something extraordinary. I see people who are ready to break free from the ordinary, ready to rise above the status quo, ready to live a life that's truly exceptional. I see people who have a fire inside them, a fire of ambition, a fire of purpose, a fire that's been waiting to blaze. And I'm here to tell you something that's going to set your spirit on fire. You were not born to be ordinary. You were born to be exceptional. Today, we're going to talk about how you can make that choice, how you can choose to go beyond ordinary, how you can choose to live a life of greatness, and how you can become the exceptional person you were always meant to be. Let's start with a simple truth. Ordinary is easy. Ordinary is comfortable. Ordinary is what most people settle for. It's the path of least resistance, staying in your comfort zone, following the crowd, doing what's expected. Ordinary is waking up every day to a life feels safe but unfulfilling, a life where you're just going through the motions, a life where you're surviving but not thriving. But here's the thing about ordinary, it's not your destiny. You were not created to blend in, to settle, to live a life that's just good enough. You were created to stand out, to shine, to live a life that's beyond ordinary. And the key to that life, the key to unlocking your exceptional potential, is choosing to be exceptional. What does it mean to choose to be exceptional? It means making a conscious decision to rise above the ordinary, to push past your fears, to go after what sets your soul on fire. It means refusing to settle for a life that's less than what you're capable of. It means embracing your unique gifts, your unique purpose, your unique journey, and using them to create a life of impact, of meaning, of greatness. Choosing to be exceptional is about saying, I'm not here to be average, I'm here to be extraordinary. And when you make that choice, you step into a life that's beyond ordinary, a life where you're not just living, but truly thriving. I want you to think about a time in your life when you chose to be exceptional. Maybe it was the time you took a risk on a dream, even though everyone told you it was impossible, and it paid off in ways you never imagined. Maybe it was the time you stood up for what you believed in, even when it was unpopular, and inspired others to do the same. Maybe it was the time you pushed yourself to achieve a goal, running a marathon, starting a business, learning a new skill, and felt the pride of knowing you went beyond ordinary. Do you remember how it felt? Do you remember the courage, the determination, the sense of being fully alive? That's what it feels like to choose to be exceptional. That's what it feels like to live a life beyond ordinary. But here's the hard truth. Most of us don't choose to be exceptional. Most of us settle for ordinary. We let fear hold us back. We let doubt dim our light. We let the expectations of others, our family, our friends, our society, define who we're supposed to be. We tell ourselves, I'm not special, I'm not talented enough, I'm not meant for greatness. We stay in our comfort zones because it's safe, because it's easy, because it's what we know. But I'm here to tell you, that comfort zone is a cage. That ordinary life is a trap. You were not born to be ordinary, you were born to be exceptional. And the only thing standing between you and that truth is your choice to rise. Let me tell you a story about someone who chose to be exceptional, a man named Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela was born in a small village in South Africa at a time when apartheid ruled the country. He could have chosen an ordinary life, a life of compliance, a life of staying quiet, a life of accepting the status quo. But Nelson chose to be exceptional. He chose fight for justice, for equality, for a better future. He became a leader in the anti-apartheid movement, even though it meant risking his life. He was imprisoned for 27 years in a tiny cell with nothing but a thin mat to sleep on, forced to break rocks in a quarry under the blazing sun. Most people would have given up. Most people would have settled for ordinary. But not Mandela. He chose to be exceptional. He used those years to grow stronger, to sharpen his mind, to deepen his resolve. And when he was finally released, he didn't emerge as a broken man. He emerged as leader. He went on to become the president of South Africa, to heal a divided nation, to become a symbol of hope for the world. Why? Because Nelson Mandela chose to be exceptional, because he refused to settle for ordinary. Let's dive deeper into Mandela's story, because there's so much we can learn from his journey. Imagine being Nelson Mandela in that prison cell, separated from your family, your friends, your freedom. Imagine the physical toll of hard labor, the emotional toll of isolation, the mental toll of knowing that your fight might never succeed. And yet Mandela chose to be exceptional. He'd write letters to his children, encouraging them to stay strong. He'd organize study groups with his fellow prisoners, teaching them to read and write. He'd hold on to his vision of a free South Africa, even when it seemed impossible. That's what it means to choose to be exceptional. That's what it means to go beyond ordinary. And because Mandela made that choice, he didn't just change his own life, he changed the world. Now, you might be thinking, that's an incredible story, but I'm no Nelson Mandela. I don't have that kind of impact or courage. Let me stop you right there. You don't need to be Nelson Mandela to choose to be exceptional. You don't need a global stage or a grand mission. Being exceptional is personal. It's about who you are, how you show up, how you live your life. Maybe your exceptional is starting a small business that changes your community. Maybe your exceptional is being the best parent you can be, raising children who will change the world. Maybe your exceptional is pursuing a passion, writing, running, that makes you feel alive. Whatever it is, it's yours. And when you choose to be exceptional, you step into a life that's beyond ordinary. I've seen the power of choosing to be exceptional in my own life. A few years ago, I was living an ordinary life. I had a stable job, a comfortable routine, a predictable existence. But deep down, I knew I was meant for more. I wake up every day feeling unfulfilled, like I was going through the motions. I'd tell myself, this is fine, I'm safe. Why take a risk? But one day I decided I'd had enough. I decided to choose to be exceptional. I quit my job to pursue my dream of becoming a motivational speaker. Even though I had no experience, even though I was terrified of failing, I said yes to the unknown, to the hard work, to the journey of becoming more. And let me tell you, it wasn't easy. There were moments of doubt, moments of struggle, moments when I thought maybe I should go back to ordinary. But every time I chose to be exceptional, every time I pushed past my fears, every time I showed up as my best self, I grew. I became more confident, more purposeful, more alive. Today, I'm standing here speaking to all of you, living a life beyond ordinary because I chose to be exceptional, because I refused to settle. Let's talk about why choosing to be exceptional matters. In a world that's full of noise, being exceptional is your superpower. It's what sets you apart. It's what makes you, you. When you choose to be exceptional, you give yourself permission to live fully, to chase your dreams, to make an impact, to leave a legacy. You give yourself permission to be the best version of yourself. The version that's bold, that brave, that's unstoppable. And when you choose to be exceptional, you inspire others to do the same. You show them what's possible. You become a light in the darkness, a beacon of greatness, a reminder that ordinary is not our destiny. Let me tell you about another person who chose to be exceptional, a woman named Serena Williams. Serena Williams grew up in Compton, California, a place where opportunities were scarce. She and her sister Venus were trained by their father on cracked public tennis courts with no fancy equipment, no elite coaches, just a dream of greatness. Serena could have chosen an ordinary life, a life of playing it safe, a life of accepting the limitations around her. But she chose to be exceptional. She chose to work harder, to dream bigger, to push past every obstacle. She faced racism, sexism, and criticism throughout her career, but she never let that stop. She kept choosing to be exceptional, winning 23 Grand Slam titles, becoming one of the greatest athletes of all time, and using her platform to advocate for equality and empowerment. Why? Because Serena Williams chose to be exceptional, because she refused to settle for ordinary. Let's dive deeper into Serena's story, because there's so much we can learn from her journey. Imagine Serena Williams as a young girl practicing on a court with holes in the ground, using second-hand rackets, knowing that the odds are stacked against you. Imagine facing discrimination in a sport that's historically been dominated by privilege, hearing people say you don't belong, that you'll never make it. And yet Serena chose to be exceptional. She'd wake up at dawn to train, pushing her body to the limit. She'd ignore the naysayers, focusing on her vision of greatness. She'd show up to every match with a fire in her heart, determined to prove that she was more than ordinary. And because she made that choice, she didn't just become a champion, She became a legend. That's what it means to choose to be exceptional. That's what it means to go beyond ordinary. So how do you choose to be exceptional? How do you live a life beyond ordinary? Let me give you 3 practical steps to help you get started. Step 1, own your uniqueness. You were born with gifts, talents, and passions that make you one of a kind. So stop trying to fit in and start standing out. Ask yourself, what makes me unique? What sets my soul on fire? Maybe it's your creativity, your compassion, your determination. Whatever it is, own it, celebrate it, use it to create a life that's beyond ordinary. Because when you own your uniqueness, you step into your exceptional. Step 2, take bold action. Being exceptional isn't about thinking, it's about doing. So commit to taking bold action, even when it's scary, even when it's hard. If you have a dream, go after it with everything you've got. If you have a goal, take the first step today. If you have a vision, start building it now. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment is now. Every bold action you take brings you closer to your exceptional life. Step 3, surround yourself with exceptional people. You can't rise if you're surrounded by people who settle for ordinary. So find your tribe, your supporters, your encouragers, your fellow dreamers. Surround yourself with people who choose to be exceptional, who push you to be your best, who remind you of your greatness, and be that person for someone else. Because when we rise together, we create a world of exceptional lives. When we choose to be exceptional together, we change the world. Let me tell you about a man I met named Aina Jian, a teacher from Bangalore. Jian had a dream of transforming education in his community, but he was living an ordinary life. He was teaching in a small school, following the same curriculum, doing what was expected. But Aina Jian decided to choose to be exceptional. He owned his uniqueness. He realized that his passion for storytelling could make learning fun for his students. He took bold action. He started creating his own lessons using stories, games, and creativity to teach. He surrounded himself with exceptional people, other teachers who shared his vision, parents who supported his ideas, students who inspired him to keep going. And over time, Aina Jian transformed his school. He created a learning environment where kids thrived, where they loved coming to class, where they dreamed big. Why? Because Aina Jian chose to be exceptional, because he refused to settle for ordinary. I want you to imagine something with me. Imagine a life where you've chosen to be exceptional. Imagine waking up every day knowing that you're living beyond ordinary, that you're thriving, that you're making an impact, that you're fully alive. Imagine the confidence you'll feel, the purpose you'll have, the legacy you'll leave. Imagine looking back on your life and saying, I didn't settle for ordinary, I chose to be exceptional, and I lived a life of greatness. That life, not a fantasy, that life is yours for the taking. All you have to do is choose. Let's take a moment to reflect. I want you to close your eyes for a second and think about what exceptional looks like for you. What does it mean to live beyond ordinary in your life? Maybe it's pursuing a passion that sets your soul on fire. Maybe it's making a difference in your community. Maybe it's being the best version of yourself every single day. Picture that exceptional life in your mind, the joy, the impact, the greatness. Picture yourself choosing to be exceptional day after day, step after step. How does that feel, that feeling? That's the power of choosing to be exceptional. That's what it means to live beyond ordinary. Let me share one more story, a story about a woman named J.K. Rowling. Before she became the world-famous author of the Harry Potter series, J.K. Rowling was living an ordinary life. She was a single mother on welfare, struggling to make ends meet, battling depression. She could have settled for ordinary, a life of survival, a life of giving up on her dreams, but J.K. chose to be exceptional. She owned her uniqueness. She poured her imagination into a story about a boy wizard. She took bold action. She wrote every day, even when she had no money, even when she faced rejection after rejection. She surrounded herself with exceptional people, publishers who believed in her, readers who loved her story, a community that supported her vision. And because she chose to be exceptional, she didn't just write a book. She created a global phenomenon. Why? Because J.K. Rowling chose to be exceptional. Because she refused to settle for ordinary. So today, I'm asking you to make a commitment to yourself, to your dreams, to the life you want to live. Commit to choosing to be exceptional, no matter what. Commit to rising above ordinary, day after day, no matter how hard it gets. Commit to living a life beyond ordinary, no matter who tries to stop you. Because I promise you, when you choose to be exceptional, you become unstoppable. You become a force of greatness. You become the person you were always meant to be. The world is waiting for you. Your greatness waiting for you. Your exceptional life is waiting for you. So go out there, choose to be exceptional, live beyond ordinary, and watch how you become everything you were born to be. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Fearless Motivation.